I don't know what keeps happening, but it's like sometimes the doors are in the shot and sometimes it's not. So I don't know. I thought I pull it as close as I possibly can, and both doors are still in the shot, and then sometimes it's not anymore. So I have no idea what's happening. Anywho,
That was great. That was great. I'm like, she's not going to get my meaning. I shouldn't have said that.
hello. Welcome to ZombieBananaSpiders. I'm Hilary, and this is our Halloween episode. And with me is, of course,
Colin?
and
Heather.
And today we're going to be talking about what scares us and taking some classic horror movie monster quizzes to see which horror monster we are. So, welcome. So, for this one, I'm taking which classic movie monster are you? And it's on thequiz.com.
We'll throw links in the description for all of our quizzes too, you guys. So,
yeah. Okay, so the first question is, what superpower would you want to have? And the options are immortality, read minds, breathe underwater, convince people to do what I say. I feel like convince people to do what I say, that doesn't need to be a superpower. You can just learn how to do that. So
fair enough.
Not that one. Immortality, they always make it seem like it's sad. Like all these vampire movies, all these sad boys they live forever and all their friends die. So
right.
I don't know about immortality.
You can just make new friends.
I guess so.
Yeah, constantly.
Let's see. Reading minds, sometimes you don't. If you know the person well enough, you probably know what they're thinking, and if you don't know what they're thinking, you probably don't need to. So maybe breathing underwater.
Okay. So what's your classic movie monster prediction, Heather?
Based on breathing underwater and nothing else? The Fly.
Okay, I'm going Aquaman. So.
We're counting him as a monster.
Question 2. Pick an old horror movie. The Fly, Dementia 13, Cat People, Suspiria. Well, funnily enough, funnily? Is that a word?
It is now.
I haven't seen any of these, but I do own Dementia 13, so we'll say that one.
Okay.
Question 3. Which of these mildly annoying things would you rather deal with? Permanently forced to wear wet socks? No, I always get sick when that happens. Always be interrupted when telling. I hate when that happens. Always walk behind slow people. Forever be stuck on a slow internet connection. I don't want any of these things to happen to me. I guess always walk behind slow people.
Oh.
Well, I mean, if you want to think about a positive spin on that one, like, it could force you to slow down, to enjoy nature. Like, there is a positive that comes out of that one. I don't know that there's any positives that come out of any of the others.
I gotta say, it doesn't seem like it, but that wet socks one would be the worst. Like,
yes,
I think so.
That would be the worst. End of story.
Yeah. Okay, how do you like your coffee? Yuck, I don't like it. With a little bit of cream and sugar. Black. With so much cream and sugar, it doesn't taste like coffee anymore. I like it with a little bit of cream and sugar.
Okay. Heather, has your monster prediction changed at all since the beginning?
Nope.
You still think she's going to be the
still
Fly?
with the Fly. I'm staying with the Fly.
Okay. I think after that last one, a little bit of cream and sugar, I'm definitely going Invisible Man.
Okay.
Yep.
Pick a horror movie. The Hollow Man, Evil Dead, The Pyramid, Silver Bullet. Of course, Evil Dead. That's not even a question. Where would you go on vacation if you could? Somewhere tropical, to a museum. I'm too busy for vacation. Somewhere romantic. Oh. Romantic and being too busy are overrated. So I guess it depends on if it's an actual vacation. See, I don't consider going to a museum a vacation unless you get to stay overnight repeatedly.
Ooh.
So if I get to stay overnight in the museum, I would go to the museum. If I just am visiting the museum during normal business hours, then that's not a vacation. So how do you guys feel about that? Are we saying that I'm staying overnight in the museum, or is it just a visit to the museum?
I'll say you're staying in town and you can visit the museum as many times as you like during the stay of your vacation.
Is it during business hours, or can I go there after hours?
Do you own a crowbar?
I mean, yes.
Then yeah, you can go there anytime you like.
Because see,
yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, but it's illegal if I do.
Only if you get caught.
Okay.
But no. Yeah, we'll say you could stay in the museum if you wanted to. Or what were you going to say, Heather?
See, I love the idea of staying in a museum. I don't think that's what the question actually means. I think they mean like you're staying in a place that has museums and you go to see them during the day during normal business hours.
Yeah.
But it makes me think there was a thing, I don't remember if it was for Girl Scouts or 4-H or if it was something else, but we went and I don't know, Hill, did you ever do this where we got locked in a mall overnight? We got to stay in a mall overnight. And
purposefully?
Purposefully.
Oh,
okay. It was a bunch of people. It might have even been like some kind of school trip, like end of the year. I feel like I did it twice.
It does sound familiar.
But like
it does sound familiar.
Yeah, and like some of the not all of the stores stayed open, but some of the stores stayed open so you could go shopping and you hung out and you could eat food and it was amazing. So
that sounds incredible.
I feel like that's a thing that museums should do. Like that should be a thing.
Well, I don't know about museums, but I feel like the Shedd Aquarium in Chicago does stuff like that.
I know the Science Center in Pittsburgh, we've done overnight trips to that, but a mall, and this was probably in like the 90s, like the height of mall awesomeness. Incredible.
So yeah, I'm gonna say you can stay in the museum at like overnight.
Okay, so then we'll say the museum.
Real quick, did you guys hear that the last Blockbuster Video turned into an Airbnb? Like you can stay in the Blockbuster Video in like a bed and watch any of the movies on the shelves on a big TV.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's what I do on vacation. Continue.
Sure. How do you like to unwind after a long day? Watching romantic comedies, taking long baths, sleeping late the next day, eating junk food. Well, none of these things, but I guess sleeping late the next day. Pick a TV drama. Ugh. Game of Thrones, Lost, House of Cards, Breaking Bad. I don't watch any of these things.
I feel like this quiz, in certain respects, like it's like for some questions, it's really into horror. Like picking like an old horror movie. Those were 4 movies that, like, they aren't the first movies that leap to mind, I would think, when just anybody would take the quiz. But then they have questions like that where I don't know how many, old school monster movie horror fans overlap with those TV series.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess in terms of horror, I mean, Game of Thrones, but I think Lost. I've seen one episode. I guess the ending. Well, part of the ending. So, what's the first thing someone would notice about your house? The mess. How big it is. I live in a pretty huge house. They might get lost. How difficult it is to find. I have to give really specific directions. how well decorated it is. My house is pretty average, so there's probably nothing that would stand out. I love my house, but I mean, I guess it's pretty average.
Heather, prediction, changed or the same?
I did do... Wait. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know what the options are, so...
Yeah.
I still think she's
how many...
the Invisible Man or Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, I could see Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah, you have not picked, apart from Evil Dead, which is the only correct answer to that question, you haven't picked any of the same answers as me. So I can't say, like, oh, you're edging towards what I got. So yeah, I'm going to stick with The Fly or Victor Frankenstein.
Okay. Do you like video games? Not really. I prefer other means of entertainment. I like them, but I prefer old school games instead of the new ones. Definitely. I'm awesome at them. I like to play them, but I'm not very good. Oh. Okay. Well, I like them. I like to play the old school ones, but I like to watch the new ones. So I'll just pick I like them, but I prefer the old school games instead of the new ones, even though it's not completely true.
Okay.
For the record.
Fair enough.
Is the movie ever as good as the book? Sometimes it's better, to be honest. Definitely. They can both be good in their own ways. Why compare them? No way. It depends on the movie. I think it depends on the movie. Pick a Halloween song. Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell, Thriller by Michael Jackson, Monster Mash by Bobby Pickett, I Want Candy by The Strangelets. Somebody's Watching Me.
Good pick.
Which of these would be the best first date? Going to the beach, a picnic, a romantic candlelit dinner, going to a scary movie? I don't know, man. Because, like, there's the whole thing about, oh, you go to a scary movie with a girl on the first date, and then she'll, like, want to, like, hold your hand and, like, cling on to you and stuff. And none of that, but I do like scary movies. What was your favorite subject in school? History, literature, science, math? Math. None of those.
Math.
Pick a supernatural creature. Wendigo, zombie, banshee, ghost. In what context?
Yeah, like, are you going to eat them? Are you going to sleep with them? Are you going to be best friends with them? You know? Are you going to hit one with your car? Like, which would you prefer to hit with a car?
Yeah, like, I like the idea of a banshee, but if they're always screaming and I got to have them around, I don't want that.
You might as well just have a baby at that point. Like, that's...
Yeah, exactly.
Be awful.
I think Ghost. Which classic horror novel is your favorite? The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, Psycho by Robert Bloch, The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving.
Those are all...
Haunting of Hill House.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick, Hilary.
Yes. What? Go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say that I find it very fascinating that this book inspired so many other stories in the same way that I Am Legend did. But,
it's a classic.
What were you gonna say, Heather?
I was just gonna say, I realized I completely misread that question. I read it as, what was your favorite, like, movie? I don't know how I missed the word novel. So I picked Psycho, but if I had realized it was a novel, I would have picked Phantom of the Opera. So that probably completely screwed my quiz. So,
your results are screwed, man.
Yeah. You could always retake it.
Nope, it's in the past. There's no looking back now.
Fair enough. Pick an 80s movie. Teen Wolf, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Goonies, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Bill
All
and
great
Ted.
horror films. Good pick on Bill and
Bogus
Ted.
Journey wasn't Bogus Journey more of a horror film than Excellent Adventure?
Bill and Ted Go to Hell? Like, who came up with that? I love it. It's amazing.
Did they release the new one yet?
Yes. I haven't seen it. You can buy it on a number of platforms. By the time this episode airs, then definitely it'll be out in whatever platform. But I hear nothing but good things about it. So I'm very excited.
Nice. I'm excited for that one.
Mm.
Other than monsters, what scares you? Change, not being able to control things in my life, being disliked, nothing. Well, change doesn't really scare me.
Okay.
Not being able to control things. I mean, I think everybody has that to some degree. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that one. What's your favorite movie turned TV series? Mm-hmm. Teen Wolf, Bates Motel, Scream, The Mummy animated series. Probably The Mummy. I didn't see it, but I didn't really like any of those other ones. Fair. Did you guys watch Scream?
I did, yeah.
The TV show?
I did.
Does it get better? Because, like, I stopped watching it because it doesn't have the sense of humor, or it didn't, at least at first, that the movies did.
It really doesn't. I wish I really liked it in spite of itself. Like, it doesn't get any better, but for whatever reason, I really liked it because I felt that it was like, man, they're really trying with this. Like, I just got to give it to them with this one. So, no, it doesn't get better, but I liked it.
That's fair. Scream Queens came out around the same time, and I started watching that one, and I liked that one a little bit better, but I didn't finish it. I don't even know if it's still on.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet either. But yeah, I remember that being on at roughly the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Which of these shows would you rather binge watch? Supernatural, Rick and Morty, American Horror Story, Grey's Anatomy. I think it depends on the season of American Horror Story, to be honest. Like, I really liked Roanoke. I thought that one I could rewatch multiple times. But a lot of the seasons I couldn't even get through because it made me so uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It's the same type of, like, gross feeling horror. And so I guess Rick and Morty.
Okay, I'm still edging towards that scientist monster. Victor Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, one of those guys.
Well, the Fly guy was also a scientist.
The Fly, yeah, you're right.
That fits.
You're right. Okay. Ooh.
Pick an animated movie. Inside Out, Hercules, Hotel Transylvania, Big Hero 6. Well, I sobbed at Inside Out. Mm-hmm. Like, both times I watched it, it was ugly. Mm-hmm. Big Hero 6 enrages me because I was very aware of them manipulating my emotions when throughout, like, it was the relationship with the brothers, and they were like, look, it's sad, you should be crying now, and I don't appreciate that. If you're gonna manipulate me, you better make it so that I don't realize it. Mm-hmm. Hercules was better than Hotel Transylvania, but I think Inside Out.
Okay.
What's your favorite late night snack? And see, sometimes if in terms of horror movies, probably popcorn. The options are leftovers from dinner, ice cream, a bowl of fruit, popcorn. So if it's like in terms of horror movies, I would say popcorn. But like, am I supposed to keep like? Never mind. Just in general, I guess.
I love popcorn. How much you want more from these questions, Hill.
Yeah. Give me the context. What's my motivation? So good. We should write a quiz one day and make it really in depth, you know.
Like every question is a paragraph.
You just went through a bad breakup and your dog died. You go to the fridge and there's 4 different beers in there. Which one do you pick? It's like,
Exactly. We need to know these things. How would your friends describe you? Friendly and loyal, quiet and thoughtful, intense and dedicated, entertaining but a little over the top. Well, I think it depends on my level of comfort with people. But if they're friends, I don't know, I'll say intense and dedicated. What's your ideal way to spend a Friday night? Relaxing at home, on a date with my significant other, at a party with my friends, sleeping early. Relaxing at home. Do you believe in ghosts? Yep, I've even seen one. Yes, but I've never actually encountered one. Maybe, maybe not. Not at all. I'd say maybe, maybe not. I'd like to believe in ghosts, but I've never really experienced anything to make me believe that there was anything going on.
okay. Okay.
Well, there was one time at the theater where it was before we'd opened, and the I was there with my assistant manager and my marketing manager, and the Pepsi guy was delivering. And this theater that I worked in had a main hallway and then a side hallway past the lobby, and the Pepsi guy was putting the syrup down the side hallway, which is where we stored it. And he like comes back to the lobby and he's like, "Are you guys open?" And we were like, "No." And he was like, "There's a woman in a white dress down that hallway." And one of my marketing manager was like, "Oh yeah," joking around, "that's our ghost." And he got this look on his face like, "I gotta go." And I was like, well, we gotta go look, because if it's really a person, then they shouldn't be here. And nobody wanted to go look, so I had to go look, and there was nobody there. So if you believe the Pepsi guy, but
Pepsi has never lied to me, so I'm just gonna go hole in. Your theater was haunted. End of story. Or you have that homeless person problem. So
that I mean, there were people that would fall asleep, and we would have to check him before we left to make sure that nobody was staying in the theater overnight. Have you guys had any ghost experiences?
I have not had a ghost experience, but I've had 2 what you'd call like unexplained, and I'm sure there's an explanation for it. I don't think they're super mysterious, but in my life I've had 2 like I got freaked out because, oh my god, what's this type of experience? But neither of them were ghosts. They were like phantom sound kind of things, which I know Doppler effect and echoing and stuff like that. You could probably easily explain them, but at the time, it was like, this is so bizarre. So that's about it. I've been in plenty of places that are reportedly haunted with not really any ghost experiences, but I so want to believe that there are ghosts out there and Bigfoots and Yetis and Loch Ness monsters. So how about you, Heather?
No.
No?
Asterisk. Because I remember when I went to the college the university that I started at, there was a building that the music people used. It wasn't like the music building, but it was like the music theater where they rehearsed and everything. They always claimed that was haunted. I never saw anything, I never experienced anything, but we had rehearsals in there, and everybody always claimed it was haunted. I will say that after both of my grandparents, or no, both of our grandfathers, after both of them died, a couple of weeks later, I dreamt about them, and
Okay.
it was kind of like, and I think it happened again after our uncle died. That it would be a couple of weeks, and then I would dream about them, and
Hmm.
I get, like you were saying, Colin, like it's probably processing grief and things like
Hmm.
that, but I've kind of come to expect it.
Hmm.
When someone in my life passes away, I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, I'm probably going to see them one more time. I don't know that that really counts like as ghosts the way that we were talking about them, but that has happened.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. That's pretty neat. I'd say that kind of counts, I'd say more or less. Why not, right? Like, why do we need to get so
And it's
technical? Like, oh, I saw a ghost. No, you saw a poltergeist or a dream manifestation. Like,
yeah, and it's what you choose, how you choose to interpret it, and
mhm.
things like that, because it was your experience. So,
Yep.
all right, so I have my results.
Okay, do we get one final round of guessing? Heather, are you changing yours at all?
Nope, I'm sticking with the fly.
I'm going Victor Frankenstein.
Oh, the Invisible Man. So
Oh,
close.
No, victory
Yeah.
was so close, yet snatched away from me at the very end. All
Yeah.
right, so why are you the Invisible Man?
It says that I'm incredibly smart, but at times the intelligence can work against you in horrific ways. Luckily, you usually find a way to make the best of it.
Okay. Do you feel that, from your point of view, that holds true for you? Like, do you think, yeah, I could be the Invisible Man?
No, I'm not good at
No.
science. I don't know why they would make me a scientist. I'm not. Nope. But if they want to call me smart, I'll go with it.
Well, let me ask you this. If you were to replace science with another analogy, like, because I see the Invisible Man as he has like a passion for something, and he gets so driven into doing it that it like can cause a unintended consequences that he puts him in a bad spot, and then
Oh,
oh no.
oh, not again.
That makes me think, reinforces the idea that the machines are sentient and they know what they're doing, because like it cut you off at like a really specific time.
I think I understand what you're saying. Instead of science, I guess I've obsessively worked on art projects to the point of probably not healthy extremes.
okay, okay,
But
that
I don't know if I would. I don't like classifying that as unhealthy. I like classifying it as dedication.
would the Invisible Man classify his experiments as dangerous?
I I don't know. Did he ever? I never read the book.
Oh, he just went banana wacky and decided to take over the world with his invisibility powers, even
Okay,
if
then
people
I
could
guess
still feel him standing there.
gotcha. Well, then I guess he wouldn't consider it unhealthy, but I guess from an outside perspective, we could hopefully all agree that it's probably somewhat unhealthy.
Well, I think it's interesting that you got one that you're like, nah, it's just this is not me. Heather and I took the quiz too before. Heather, what did you get? And do you agree? Is that you?
Let me see if I can find the. Because I got the mummy.
Okay.
Do I still have the what it said? Shoot.
Hilary, do you think Heather is a mummy?
that's not it.
I don't know.
Is it here?
In terms of like former Egyptian royalty turned cursed.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think you're cursed.
That's good. Good to hear.
It depends on what mummy, because there's so many. But like, if you're the original like Boris Karloff mummy movie, like that classic monster, I don't know. Have you been driven by your love of someone for over 3,000 years to come back to life and then turn some lady into that person? Like, does that fit your personality all either? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, this is making me very upset because I had saved the description specifically and now I can't find it. But I could see in terms of, like, if we're thinking of it in the more general sense, of feeling that attachment to somebody and wanting to either be with them beyond the grave, or if I was still alive, you know, somehow, and they died, wanting to be with them again, I could see that.
Okay.
There was another quiz that we took that I don't think we're going to talk about, that we picked to talk about, but for that one I got Leatherface. And the part of the description was, a close home is a happy home, right? If they ask you for a favor, you'll give it to them, even if it requires murder and cannibalism. And that's the same type of thing. Like, I don't feel like I would resort to murder and cannibalism for my family. But there's very little I wouldn't do. And you know, the whole thing is, what is that saying, like the, I can't remember what it is, but it's like, your best friend helps you hide the bodies, like, you know, that sort of level. Like, I feel like that could be true.
Okay. All right, cool. Very, very cool. As soon
You,
as you
Colin?
said, me, for my classic monster, I got Dracula. So I don't think that's true at all, but whatever. Dracula's cool. It's
Well, what monster do you think you're more like?
man, I don't know.
I would say, I mean, I don't know if I'm like him, but I can relate more to the Wolfman because he's like at least tortured about it.
I could see that. I could see that. For Dracula, it says, let me just read that to you real quick. You're Dracula. Vampires have been incredibly popular in pop culture in recent years and obviously show no signs of slowing down. But this is where they all came from. You're pretty different, but people just can't stay away from you. And I don't think that's true. And I don't relate to Dracula unless you go book version where I'm like a creepy old man that lives by himself in a castle and crawls on the walls. Like I could get behind that. But Wolfman's a really good pick, Hilary. I like that. I think Creature from the Black Lagoon, I'm more like him because like he's just this weird scaly guy that lives by himself and wants to be left alone, and then people come in with their boats and he kills a bunch of them and then they get mad at him, and it
I mean,
always
can't really blame him though.
Just yeah. How about you, Heather? What classic monster do you think you're most like?
Gosh. I think I find like the monsters, like you were saying, like the Wolfman, the ones that are tortured, I find them more compelling. Like there's a whole thing now with the different types of vampires, and I think according to various people that I read and watch, that kind of idea of the tortured vampires started with Anne Rice and like the Interview with a Vampire, and then it really caught on. But that's different. Like I feel like the Wolfman, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I feel like the Wolfman was always tortured, because it's this curse that was laid on him. He has no control. I never got that from vampires. Like, they were always the ones who were the most in control of everything that they did. And so I kind of like that more. Like, I like Phantom of the Opera. For the same reason, like Creature from the Black Lagoon, from the same, it's like, yeah, like they're just different. Like, even Godzilla, it's, and I'm not really familiar with original Godzilla lore, but wasn't it like, it was nuclear testing that created him?
Yeah.
And so it's like, for all we know, he was just this little lizard living his little lizard life.
Isn't Godzilla is actually a hero, right? Because Godzilla comes out and fights other monsters, right? Or am I making that up?
No, you're not.
One of my friends. Yeah. Okay.
No,
he's
right.
Actually.
You're right, but you're wrong. Sorry. There's like 26 Godzilla movies, and it depends on which movie where he's either the big bad or he's come out to fight the big bad monster, or the best ones he's both, where they're like, yeah, Godzilla's killing this monster, but he's really wrecking up our shit. So it's a little.
I gotcha. Well, that's like Superman too, right? Or is it Batman? They just they destroy things while saving people. So it's like, are you actually a good guy?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the whole Superman versus Batman or whatever problem.
The dichotomy of having like so much power that you help people, but also you're like really doing some property damage that people are for.
Yeah.
All right, well that's cool. That I enjoyed that classic monster quiz, even if none of us are the thing that they said we are. Do we want to talk about the couple of other quizzes we took and the answers we got?
Sure.
Okay, so we did a couple other quizzes. We're not on camera here, but do we want to do the make a horror movie? Which monster are you based on that?
Sure.
All right. Hilary, what did you get for that one?
Mine was The Witch.
Okay.
It reset itself, so I can't describe it. Pause. Heather, how about you go for it, and then I will do this real fast.
Okay, sounds good. So this was the first quiz that I took. And I loved it because I have no idea from my answers how I got the monster that I got.
Okay.
So
I just got a different monster, so
and for
did the exact same answers that I. So
okay.
But continue.
So the first question was you picked. So for people listening, this is ever wonder which monster you are. Create a scary movie to find out. So it's not asking you questions really about yourself. It's asking you to give an outline of a scary movie, and then it will tell you what monster you are. So I like that premise. I think that's really interesting.
It's on BuzzFeed.
Okay.
So the first question was, or the first thing was to pick a main character. I picked an old man.
Okay.
The second was, where does this take place? I picked in a small rural town. Third was to pick the character's problem. I picked themselves. Fourth was a weapon. You pick a weapon. I picked hammer. And then... Yeah.
Problem solved.
And then fifth was, does the character win? And I picked no.
Oh.
So that was the outline of my movie. Okay, old man in a small rural town. They have a problem. There's an internal conflict with a hammer, and they don't win.
Okay.
This is what I got. I am a vampire. You are sassy and sexy. You have a taste for blood that you use to get your way. No one can ignore your charm and would do anything to earn your friendship. Yes, people may say you have a big ego, but that's only because you hate being wrong.
Wow. It was the hammer, clearly. When you picked hammer, that locked that in.
Must have been. Must have been.
Seriously, do they just assign you a random monster?
It must. This one, yeah, it must be.
So, Hilary, you got the witch first. What was your second monster?
A ghost.
Okay, interesting.
So, yeah, oh, there we go. I got witch again. Okay, here we go. My movie was the main character is an old man. It takes place in an abandoned hospital. The problem is an evil person. The weapon is a bat, and the character kind of wins at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And the witch is, I'm large and in charge. When something goes wrong or someone is irritating, I tend to be ruthless in showing my true emotions, and I'm never afraid to back down from a challenge. Or you're not Ghost, are you, Colin?
I am actually the ghost. Yep.
Okay, then I won't read it.
Okay. Do you feel witch, your initial setting, fits you at all, or based on that description?
No, not really. I don't know. I mean, I'm in charge when I have to be, and when someone is irritating, if I am ruthless, it's never intentional.
Okay.
So,
Fair enough.
But you?
Yep, I got ghost. I didn't write down my answers, but I think I remember teenagers in a small town. The threat, I think, was themselves, and they do win in the end. So I don't know. I can't remember the weapon. But it says, like ghosts, I tend to be quiet and observant. Attention isn't your kind of thing, so you'd rather stay in and watch a movie than go out and mingle with people. Though you may seem mysterious and aloof, you aren't afraid to fight for the things and people you love. I mean, I don't see myself as a ghost, but all of that is reasonably true. I like that part where I stay in and watch movies. That sounds pretty great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that. And I like that the ghost is a traditional like bed sheet. The picture was a bed sheet with the eye holes cut out, like that kind of ghost. I'd be that kind of ghost. Yeah. Have you guys seen is it Ghost Story with Casey Affleck?
I've heard good things about it, but I didn't see that one.
He dies and is a ghost, and he is a ghost in a bed sheet. But it's not a comedy. It's this real dour, artsy, sad, depressing film. I don't know. Check it out or not. Fine.
Yeah,
that's a rousing recommendation right there.
And that's my review of Ghost Story.
Of the week.
That was good. Do we want to do the which sci-fi movie creature quiz? Do we want to talk about our results in this one?
Sure.
Heather, you go first again. We'll keep doing the rounds.
Okay. So I did write down the questions. And I should say, I'll do the first two questions and then I will say. So this is which sci-fi monster are you, or Siffy?
Yeah, the Sci-Fi Channel, not in science fiction movies or whatever, but sci-fi.
Yes. So the first question, do you consider yourself a human or a demonoid monster beast wearing a skin-colored costume? I chose human.
Okay.
That's the only two options.
Yeah. And, this quiz, clearly has questions that it wants you to pick.
Yeah.
So the second question was, buzz, 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 your alarm blares. It's 7 a.m. and you feel... I picked chipper and ready to attack the day. I am a morning person, but it was. Oh no, it was after the third question. Okay, so the third question, after a nutritious breakfast, you stroll into the garage and hop into your. And it was at this point where I made a conscious decision. Because none of the questions, like none of the options for what car you get into, that's what it is. None of the options were cars that I had, or that I had ever had, or that I ever really wanted. So I decided.
Didn't want a Doom deal or whatever it was?
Maybe. That would be the one. So it was at this point that I decided I'm going to pick the most normal answers for the rest of this quiz. Because I was thinking, you pick the most normal stuff, your answer will be like, you are some kind of psychotic chicken.
Okay.
I mean, this is the Sci-Fi channel that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, there has to be a movie where, like, what's the one with the rabbits? You know, the
Night of Olympus?
Yeah.
No, that's not a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
No. But, like, in that vein, you know, there's a movie that exists with, you know, evil giant rabbits. So, in the sci-fi's oeuvre, there has to be one with, like, demon chickens. So I'm thinking, like, that is my thought process. If I pick the most normal answers, I'm going to come up with the most abnormal monster.
Got it.
This is how my brain works. So, for that question, I stroll into the garage and hop into my Prius.
Sensible.
Exactly. And then go to class.
Yeah.
And then the next one, is there anything better than dinner and a movie? You rush to the theater and make it just in time to see the latest Pixar classic. You're at a fancy restaurant, dressed in your formal best.
Yeah.
The waiter approaches and asks what you'll be having. You respond, pasta. I was torn between pasta and a salad. But I picked pasta.
If you go to the Olive Garden, you can get both.
Exactly.
Great, yeah.
You drive home, park the car, and open the front door only to be greeted by your tail-wagging pet, gerbil.
Okay.
And then, what an action-packed day. You're exhausted, so you put on your pajamas and get into your bed.
Yeah.
So that was what I picked. And this is what it gave me. I am a human. In the world of sci-fi, you're not even a monster. You're the person that gets eaten by the monster. For shame.
Damn. I love that because I feel like the person who programmed that quiz is like, there's some jerky out there that's going to try to screw me over. Terrific. So, Heather, do you feel that you're a human? Like, does that fit you at all, do you think?
I mean, sort of, you know, like on a biological level.
Yeah, fair enough.
I always hope that, you know, in the end of the world scenario, that I won't be the first eaten.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily always see myself surviving, depending on what the situation is. But I always kind of hope that, like, I'll be the one that's eaten by the zombies so my friends can get away. You know, like, I will save my family by being eaten, and you guys can all just run. Like, that's kind of what I hope for.
Okay.
So in that sense, I don't think it's shameful to be the human, depending on the situation. Like, I would never want to be the person that dies before the credits. You know, like in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Human is usually the hero too.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I got.
I love it. I think that's a great answer. How about you, Hilary? Which crazy sci-fi channel monster are you?
Well, I think the only I didn't do Prius. I did Doom Buggy or whatever it was. And then I did for the movie. I did like gory horror or whatever. So I got, but I did the exact same. Everything else, I did the same answers as you. And I got Carney, which I'd never heard of, but it's said, now we're talking. I'm pretty badass. I'm the Jersey Devil, and not even Lou Diamond Phillips can stand up to me. So you better watch out.
Do you feel that Lou Diamond Phillips can stand up to you, or like in real life? If Lou
probably.
Diamond Phillips, you think if he snuck in that back room and like stare down, you know?
I mean, he's an accomplished man, so I don't see why he wouldn't be able to stand up to me. But that's fine.
Fair enough. Fair enough, man.
What are you?
I picked the most outlandish answers I could get. So I was a demon with the human skin suit on, and I'm driving around in my monster truck. And I did pick salad, though, because I do like a good salad. But somehow I am also Carney the Jersey Devil. So.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Is that the only two options?
Human and Carney.
I have my suspicions because I then retook this quiz. Right? I still picked human for the first one, and I still picked bed for the last one.
Yeah.
But for the alarm blaring, I feel I picked Dear Lord, there's blood everywhere.
I picked that one.
Then I hopped into my monster truck to go to the bunker. Then I picked Summer Blockbuster for the movie.
Sure.
And then for the restaurant, I said, why isn't there brain on the menu? And then when I got home, I was greeted by my pet Cerberus.
Nice.
And I also got Carney.
So you are either, if you're taking this quiz, you're either the Jersey Devil or you're a regular old person.
Yeah.
Those are your options.
Yeah.
You're not Mega Shark, you're not Sharknado, you're not the two-headed shark, you're not the ghost shark, you're not the sand shark, you're not ice sharks. Human or Jersey Devil, that's it.
Those are your options.
Sci-Fi Channel, you have so many sharks.
I just took it again, and I got RoboCroc.
RoboCroc, okay,
There's
cool.
At least RoboCroc. Vicious. Your thousands of years of evolution combined with the greatest cyborg technology of humanity. You are RoboCroc.
So what did you pick? Like, what did you do different?
Yeah.
I picked raw meat for one of them. For the meal, I picked raw meat. Picked a Jeep for the vehicle.
That's
rugged. I can see that, yeah.
Yeah. So there are at least 3 answers for that one.
Wow.
Well, that was fun.
RoboCroc. God's Siffy channel never change. I mean, get some better budgets, but never change.
I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't. I mean, their movies are so entertaining. They're so bad. They're so entertaining.
I Am Omega.
What was it?
What's that?
I Am Omega. Wasn't that a Sci-Fi Channel?
Was that the one where he fought off zombies with like nunchucks?
I don't know, but it was it came out right when I Am Legend came out, so it was like capitalizing on that.
That might have been an Asylum movie because the Asylum does all of the knockoff ones. They're like, I don't know who they're trying to trick or whatever, but somebody. So the Asylum does the knockoffs.
I swear there was I don't know if it's the same one that you were thinking of, Hill, but there's a movie that I saw called like Alpha and Omega Man or something like that. And like the only thing that it shares with Omega Man, the Charlton Heston movie, is that it's kind of post-apocalyptic. There are zombies, but the main character is like a ninja.
Okay.
And he fights off zombies with nunchucks. And it is spectacular.
I'd watch that. I watched that twice. Sounds great. That sounds great. Man, that was fun. I enjoyed doing all the quizzes. I love a good, like, cheesy online personality quiz. 10 questions. You don't know what kind of random answer you're going to get. So good stuff. Now, do you guys like watching Sci-Fi Channel movies? Because it sounds like you do. You know, maybe even not like to a massive degree, but
I'm not super, like I said before, I'm not super into creature features, and
sure.
they do a lot of those. But there, for a while there, I feel like, wasn't it Sci-Fi that did? They did an Alice mini series that was an adaptation of Alice in Wonderland, and I think they did. Did they do Tin Man, or was that somebody else? I feel like
That was them. That was a while back.
Yeah. I really liked that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was even when
They
they
were
were the Sci-Fi Channel before they became
okay.
Sci-Fi or whatever.
I like calling them Siffy.
Sci-Fi. Yeah. Sounds dignified. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was on Sci-Fi. So I enjoy reinterpretations of those stories. So I like those, even though I had some issues with both of those movies. But it was like production value was pretty good, and that
Mm-hmm.
got known actors to be in it. The acting wasn't great, but that might not have been their fault. It might have been like the director or editing or whatever. So
Yeah.
um,
Very
yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Recommendation time. Who would like to go first? I'll go first. I have 3 recommendations. I guess I'll pick one because I could talk all about this. As it is Halloween, clearly when we're filming this, my recommendation is for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. My God, you guys, I love it. This is the starter set. I highly recommend it to anybody that's interested. It's like $25. You get everything you need to start playing. The rules are super simple. The first adventure in here is like a choose your own adventure type thing to get you to learn how to play. And it just goes from there. Great horror stuff. I love Lovecraftian terrors. I love role playing games. And this has everything you need to play in it. So you can get with your friends. You can play online or in person. Or like I said, that first one, you can just play with yourself. It's great. So Call of Cthulhu role-playing game by Chaosium is my pick for the Halloween episode. One of many picks I have, but we'll stick with that one.
Awesome.
So that's it. Who would like to go next?
I can go. My pick is The Cases That Haunt Us. From Jack the Ripper to JonBenet Ramsey, the FBI's legendary mindhunter sheds light on the mysteries that won't go away. So in our first episode, I mentioned John Douglas. This is a book that he wrote with Mark Olshaker, who is another profiler who's well, now I don't know if I can... I'm not sure on that. I'll have to get back to you. Because he's written a lot of books with Mark Olshaker, so I just kind of assumed that he was a profiler as well. But he might actually be an author, or he might work in some other capacity in the FBI. I'm not sure. So don't quote me on that one. But I really like this book because he profiles like very famous cases that we don't actually know the answers to. So he does Jack the Ripper, he does Lizzie Borden, he does, those are my 2 favorites. He does the Black Dahlia, he does the Zodiac, he does the Lindbergh baby kidnapping, and it's really awesome because he takes you through every step of how he would lead the investigation, or how he would set up a profiler for the killer based on the evidence that we have. And then he says whether or not he thinks, like in the case of Lizzie Borden, whether or not he thinks Lizzie Borden actually did it.
Okay.
And it's just really, really awesome to see these cases that have been with us for so long and have like caused so much speculation and controversy, to see somebody come at it with a very analytical and like based in, you know, the kind of profiling that exists today, how criminals are profiled and caught, to have that point, like that sort of focus pointed at these old cases. So it's really cool. It's a really awesome read, and I think it's good for Halloween because you've got that like the fear factor and the horror of the unknown, because nobody knows like who actually did the things in these cases, but then you also have that very analytical, like true life mind coming at them. So that's my recommendation.
That sounds great. Very fascinating.
Yeah.
Very like dark. Like very dark. That's awesome. How about you, Hilary? Oh, go on.
Well, does he compare H.H. Holmes to Jack the Ripper? There came out with a mini or a show where they're trying to convince you that H.H. Holmes was Jack the Ripper.
I don't remember if he mentions H.H. Holmes specifically in this, but okay, spoilers. With this particular case and the way he profiles who Jack the Ripper was based on how he killed the women and how his killing escalated, because he went from mutilation to horrific mutilation.
Okay.
It's John Douglas's opinion that whoever killed the last woman was completely incapable of functioning anymore. Like the killer, the way the killer destroyed this woman's body, says he has been pushed completely too far. There's no way, like kind of like what we see with you know, serial killers in pop culture, where he could just go home, take a shower, and, you know, then tuck the kids into bed and resume a normal life. Douglas is like, there is no way this killer can function anymore. And so he has, there's a couple of people who he thinks may, if it wasn't them, he's like, they fit the profile. So there was this one person who they found like wandering the streets, completely coherent, just filthy, unable to take care of themselves. And they found this person right after the last murder. And Douglas was like, basically that's the level that whoever killed these women, that is the level that he would be at. So in that respect, I don't remember exactly when H.H. Holmes, was that like slightly after the Jack the Ripper killings?
He didn't get caught until after the Jack, because they were arguing that H.H. Holmes was in England when all that was going on, because he would travel to England, and they know that he killed people in England. So they were speculating, but the kills are different, and he does come back to the U.S. and get caught eventually. So he would have been functioning after Jack the Ripper.
Okay, because that's basically what I like about John Douglas and the work that he has done, is that he looks at, you know, not just what the killers do and did, but it's how that affects them as people. You know, are they able to continue functioning? And I would like to say that I do not condone like racial profiling, and I also do not condone murder. You know, it's I am interested in this topic. I don't condone it. But that's what he writes about a lot, is the struggle that he went through trying to understand all of the serial killers that he interviewed. That's how he developed the profiling system, was by talking to hundreds of serial killers. And he talks about, not only in this book but in other books that he's written, he talks about that, you know, are they monsters?
Mm-hmm.
And what they do, how that affects them. And so in this case with Jack the Ripper, he was saying that the way that the crimes escalated, it was showing an escalation of insanity, basically, for the person who was perpetrating these crimes. So this was not, he was saying, like, it couldn't be the doctor, the queen's doctor, or the crown prince's doctor. It couldn't be all these people, because they continued to function as human beings. They might be terrible human beings, but they were still able to function.
Yeah, that's why I had to stop watching the Mindhunters TV show, because they were showing how much it affected the two guys that were interviewing all these serial killers. And that type of thing, I don't know, I'm interested in this subject too, but it always made me really sad. And I thought it was Criminal Minds deals with this topic of the psychological toll it takes on the people that investigate these people. So I couldn't finish that show.
And that's actually something that Douglas writes about and talks about too, is that he, I don't remember exactly what happened to him, but he pushed himself so hard, not only like physically, emotionally, mentally, because for a while he and like one other person were the only profilers that existed. And so they were taking on all of these different cases. They were interviewing all of these different serial killers, and he basically collapsed. He went into a coma, and he said that his partner like didn't hear from him. They were on a case somewhere. He collapsed in his hotel room, and his partner had to go in, like they had to break down the door, rush him to the hospital, and he's like, if they had found me much later, I probably would have died. Basically from the strain of doing this. So it's, yeah, like when they talk about that in the shows, and that's why I'm fascinated by this topic, but I can only read these books in very small doses, because it's so viscerally affecting.
I think that's like, that's kind of what I was talking about with like the gross feeling. Like I watched a movie called it was either like Dear Mr. Gacy or My Friend, something like that. It was about this kid who was getting his master's or PhD, or maybe just his bachelor's, but he was in college, and he started writing to John Wayne Gacy, and just as part of a project. And John Wayne Gacy wrote back to him, and he manipulated this kid, and it's a true story. And this kid eventually, spoiler alert, committed suicide. And I think he was either on Oprah or Dr. Phil, and like talking about his experience being friends with John Wayne Gacy, and then like shortly after that aired, he committed suicide. Jeez. Those types of movies I can't watch. Like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I watched that, and I will never watch that movie again. I can watch things like Hostel all day because I know they're fake.
Right.
But like those types of things, no thank you.
Yeah.
On that note, my recommendation, if you're looking for a laugh,
yes,
just change that subject. I love it. Good segue.
Well, excuse me. One of my favorite types of horror movies are ones that can balance scares with humor. So, like Tucker and Dale versus Evil is one of my favorite ones. But I also like movies, and that one is good too because it makes fun of a formula, like the back hills country people who in a lot of horror movies eat people, but they're actually sweethearts in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. So that's a good one. But my recommendation is one that I found in my hunts through Family Video straight to DVD. This may have been released in theaters. I'm not sure, but it didn't come to our town. So it's called Behind the Mask: The Story of Leslie Vernon. And this movie also makes fun of the formula of slasher movies. Like they go into the whole concept of the survivor girl and like all of the stereotypes in a lot of the horror movies from like the beginning of the 80s on. There's like the jock, the slut, the survivor girl, the stoners, like all those types. And they point it out, they make fun of it, and then in the first half of the movie, and then the second half of the movie, they use it. They use the formula, and it still works, and it's very clever, and it's fairly low budget, but the acting is decent. It's got one of the sisters from Home Alone in it. So it's wonderful. Have either of you seen it?
I have, yeah, I love it. I was going to make a point to talk about the acting there because it's got cameos from Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, and Zelda Rubinstein from the is it Poltergeist she's in? Yeah, great flick. There's actually a comic book sequel series that was started on Indiegogo, and I like that too.
It was released because I heard that they started writing a script for a sequel, but then ended up turning it into a comic.
I think there's 3 issues. There's 3 that I have read, and it keeps with that same sense of almost like a meta commentary on horror. Like, so it keeps the same spirit. So I recommend that too. And I agree, your pick, good choice, Hilary, because that's a good one. Great flick.
I have a question that probably reveals my ignorance. How would you compare it to, was it Cabin in the Woods? That also, it seems like had the, we lost him. The machines, they know.
There he is.
He's back.
Cabin in the Woods. I don't know if they're both like. I would say that they both are aware, like self-aware to an extent, but I think they're aware of like the genres in a different way. Like they do things with the genres in a different way. Would you agree with that, Hilary?
Yeah, because the first part is a mockumentary of somehow this journalism student found a serial killer who hadn't killed yet. So she's interviewing him as he's setting up the house where he's going to kill all these teenagers, and he's been stalking them for a long time. And he takes you behind the scenes of like the girl's taking the trash out behind her job at night, and she props the door open, and it slams shut, and then she sees him out of the corner of her eye, and then she looks and he's gone. And so you see that as a legitimate scene, like a scary scene, and then you see him and the film crew like setting it up to scare her. So it's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds awesome.
It's a good one. It's a good one, Heather. Very good. All right. You guys ready for the quiz?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you a choice. You can do Stephen King type stuff, movie stuff, or horror movie like rock and roll music. Your pick.
Pick, Heath.
Oh, I feel like I would potentially know more of the Stephen King stuff, but I'm intrigued by the rock and roll stuff. So I'm going to say that one.
Okay. The Sound of Terror. Are you ready? Name the horror comedy musical in which Meatloaf plays Eddie the Biker.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Stage fright.
You got stage fright on the brain, Hilary. Heather gets the win on that one. On what film is Michael Jackson's 1982 Thriller video based?
Is it?
Oh. There are a couple different answers you could give for this, but they list one.
Is it Dracula?
No.
Is it Night of the Living Dead?
Heather gets number 2. Good job. Would have also accepted I Was a Teenage Werewolf because that begins. Okay. What horror great can be heard on Michael Jackson's 1982 Thriller, the song?
I'm going to guess Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
You are a little incorrect on that.
Is he dead by then?
Yeah, but yeah, I think he was by 82. The answer, you give up? Ready for the answer?
Yeah.
It's Vincent Price. He speaks in it. The Funk of 40,000 Years. Great. Who wrote the title song for The Blob in 1958?
Oh, no.
Beware of the blob, it creeps across around the town. It is Burt Bacharach and Hal David.
Oh my god, it's a Burt Bacharach song.
It is. What country music star sings I've Come to Kill in Door to Door Maniac 1961?
Johnny Cash.
Hilary gets the win on that one. 2-1. Hilary, you got some catching up to do, but you're making it. You're doing this. Who had a graveyard smash with the Monster Mash?
I don't remember who did that one.
Know.
Any just random guesses, or do you want me to give it to you?
What's that guy's name? Okay, I'm gonna laugh so hard if it's the guy that I'm thinking. I can't think of his name.
Okay. It's Bobby Boris Pickett.
Nope.
He did the mash. He did the Monster Mash. What rock band took its name from a 1960s Boris Karloff film?
Is the band from the 60s or the movies from the 60s?
Technically both, but the band's first album is 71, I want to say. I can give you a hint. The lead singer went on to a very famous solo career, and once, urban legend says, ate the head off a bat while on stage.
Was it Black Sabbath?
It's Heather for 3. Good job.
I only know the name of the band. I did not know that Boris Karloff was in a movie called Black Sabbath.
Oh, it's great. It's an anthology horror flick. Good stuff.
Okay. I was thinking White Zombie.
White Zombie is a good one, but that's a Bela Lugosi flick.
Yeah.
What was the title of the rock song that put the squash on the Killer Tomatoes in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, 1978? I can talk.
I do not know.
Puberty Love is the name of the song.
I was not pulling that one out of anywhere.
Nope.
What 1959 smash hit, written and performed by Sheb Wooley, became a 1988 film?
It wasn't Purple People Eater, was it?
Heather for the win.
Nice. That was my favorite when I was little, but I'm never going to rewatch that one because it was probably real bad.
Oh, yeah. I remember liking it. I remember that.
I remember you complaining that we watched it too much.
Yeah, I probably did, but I remember liking it, so maybe I was just doing it, like, because I was a little shit.
You can like something and still see it too many times, so...
Yeah.
What movie full of rock music does Charlton Heston's character watch over and over again in The Omega Man, 1971?
Oh, it's the Woodstock movie. But I don't remember what it's called.
Give me a guess. You've already said the title. It's one word.
Woodstock?
Woodstock, yep. Hilary, I don't think you're winning this one because there's only a couple left.
Sorry.
Well, Heather's the music person, so she should be winning this one.
That's true. What rock group wrote songs titled Godzilla and Nosferatu? These guys don't fear the Reaper. They're also burning
Blue
for you.
Oyster Cult?
That's correct, yep. What rock group's first album, Tales of Mystery and Imagination, was inspired by the works of Poe? They have an eye in the sky. It's the Alan Parsons Project. True or false? Rock star Ringo Starr makes an appearance in Son of Dracula, 1974.
Alice Cooper. What? What was the question?
True or false? So you have a 50-50 shot at this one. Rock star Ringo Starr made an appearance in Son of Dracula, 1974.
No.
True? You got it. Hilary, you got it. Good job. And I know you knew that specifically. That wasn't a guess.
Yes, absolutely.
Really. What movie about voracious rats did Michael Jackson record the theme song for? Yep.
What was that one where the guy could control rats?
Now, I need to point out this is the sequel to that movie.
Ah. I don't remember what it was called.
It's okay. It's Ben, the sequel to the movie Willard. Ben was the name of the main rat in Willard.
Okay.
And what group ignited the goth movement in the 1980s with its song Bela Lugosi's Dead?
Don't know.
That would be Bauhaus. Or Bauhaus. I don't know how you pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure it's
Bauhaus.
Yeah, Bauhaus.
Okay. And that's it for our Halloween rock quiz. That didn't go over so hot, but that's okay. I had fun. I had fun asking the questions. So and everybody learned
and it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. All right. Well, any closing thoughts?
Happy Halloween. Stay safe.
Happy Halloween.
Thanks for hanging out.
Perfect. Hilary, play us out.
Boop 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 boop.